Well, hello, friends. Coach Bob with you today. And today we are going to talk about the four-letter word. Oh, yes, we are. Fear. Man, is fear a real thing for motorcycles or not? Man, it is. Fear can be paralyzing on motorcycles, and people can create a fear in you before you ever get going out of the gate. So I'm going to share a little story about something that happened just this morning, as a matter of fact, with me. I was asked by this individual who is a very professional, very cool guy he has a car collection, as we spoke about motorcycles and danger. So this morning I was at my daughter's oncology visit. She had a treatment today, and her oncologist, as we were speaking, told me of a friend of his who rides motorcycles and was killed this past week, and asked me if I was ever afraid of dying on a motorcycle. Now, it's amazing. We're in a building, right, that is surrounded by people that are very, very ill, and this was what triggered fear in him. We talked a little bit about that. But my answer to him is that I'm not afraid. I know that may sound crazy, and I understood that it might sound crazy to him. And I explained to him that I often tell Vicky, aka Coach Vic, that if I die on a motorcycle, understand that I die doing something I love, that I want to be doing. And I don't believe that I'm putting myself in just this horrifying level of danger every time I go out. And I'm not afraid. I understand that there's risk associated with everything. So knowing there's risk associated with driving a car and climbing a ladder and mowing grass or riding a motorcycle, there's risk associated with everything. I want to tell you this. Here's a secret. You may not have heard this. So far, the death rate's 1 for 1, and we're all going to make it, baby. You're not getting out of this thing alive. Just wanted to let you know that. I know they're going to try to sell you on the TV commercials that, you're going to live forever, and if you take this pill, everything's going to be okay. But that's not how it works. So let's talk about some strategies and about some of the fear and all of the things that are associated with motorcycle riding. I think you're going to find this very interesting. First off, as I was saying, you're always going to hear the story, right? There's that fear because, those things are death machines, right? They're death machines. They'll chew you up and spit you out, and people are just going to run over you. And I know someone who was flattened like a pancake, and there it is. And then you go on YouTube, and there's all of these morbid videos out there where people are getting run over. And 90% of the ones that I see are always guys just behaving irresponsibly on motorcycles, acting like morons, running up on people and hitting their mirrors and doing 80 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, and then getting upset because somebody pulled out in front of them. But let's talk about a few of the pros of motorcycle before we even talk about trying to overcome fear. Here's just a few. One, it definitely will help you with depression. There are tons of studies out there about just moving outside, just generally speaking. Motorcycle riding, the old saying, you don't see a motorcycle in front of a psychiatry office, is very true. They're big fun. They just are. The more you ride them, the more you want to ride them. They're fun. They're fun to look at. They're fun to clean. They're fun to work on. They're fun to ride. There is nothing about them that isn't fun, and I love every minute of it. And here's another thing that I've experienced in my personal life. Now, this is not something that I've read a book and it said, oh, it does this. It has slowed down my aging process. I believe that with all my heart. Because when you're happy and when you're passionate about something, you feel young. And if you feel young, you're going to start behaving young. And you're going to and it starts becoming this self-feeding fire. I'm not telling you it's a fountain of youth, but you will feel better. You will feel more vibrant. You will feel more alive, and you will feel younger. And I truly believe that if more people rode motorcycles, people, just generally speaking, would be happier. But a lot of people succumb to the fear, and they'd rather be afraid than be happy. And I think that most of the people that I've met in my life that walk around in fear of many things, with that level of delusion and paranoia. And I'm not talking about, if there's a water moccasin on the ground, don't go, he's not going to bite me. Trust me, he's going to bite you. You have to understand like I said, there's danger associated with things, but this unmitigated just fear of life, that is no way to live. There's just no way to live. So let's talk about 8 things that we could do to be less afraid and get out there on that motorcycle. But before we get going, if you would, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all the YouTube stuff. I'm done with that. All right, if you've never ridden before, the first thing you can do to help you with fear is take an MSF course. That is the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. It is slow paced, it's done on a small motorcycle, it's done in a very controlled environment with professional instructors and other people that are also learning to ride. There's comfort in knowing that you're not the only dummy in the group. You know, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant. That just means you're uninformed. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant to things of motorcycling. You know, you have to learn. You have to start somewhere. So taking a nice MSF course is always a great place to start. Number 2, and this one's an important one, armor up. You know, get you a helmet, get you some gloves, get you a jacket, get you some boots. You know, it doesn't have to be top of the line. I'm going to tell you that whatever you buy when you first start riding, you're going to end up going to more expensive stuff later. You just are. But when you're learning to ride, wearing that helmet, that $200-$300 helmet, wearing that jacket that's $90 and the gloves that are $30, there's enough there that you're going to be okay unless you're doing 120 miles an hour and sliding down a pavement. If you're riding reasonably, those things will reasonably protect you. Now, I'm going to tell you, I wear expensive equipment. I do. But I've been riding a lifetime. I've had a lifetime to accumulate things. You don't just go out and buy thousands of dollars of gear overnight unless you're just a wealthy person. And most people don't fall into that category. But armor up. Get you some gear and feel good about what you're wearing. It's gonna make that experience better because, you know, if you dress professionally, you're going to act more professional. If you dress more goofy, you're going to act more goofy. And if you dress like a motorcycle rider, you're going to be more of a motorcycle rider. One of the things that I talk to the young people about that I coach every day, what you focus on is what you become. What you focus on is what determines the output of this wonderful brain that God has put in that big old noggin of yours. If you focus on the fear, you will be afraid. If you focus on the success, you will succeed. If you focus on the failure, you will fail. There's no doubt about it. Anyone who's ever visualized in an athletic endeavor and they've seen that visualization come to fruition, they know what I'm talking about. I visualized myself winning a few races in my lifetime. And guess what? Every one that I seriously visualized, I won. Isn't that crazy? If we know that it works, why don't we do it? But visualize. See yourself having fun. See yourself being a safe rider. See yourself enjoying the experience of riding a motorcycle. Focus on the fun. Focus on the knowledge. Don't focus on the fear. Number 4, start nice and slow. I'm going to share a phrase with you. No traffic before you no traffic. You need to ride when there is no traffic. Just get out, find you a place, a parking lot, a field if you have an enduro, a dirt road, a backyard, anywhere where there is no traffic. Get out there and learn the art of riding a motorcycle. Learn to use a clutch. Learn to use a throttle. Learn to use your brakes properly. You know, and if you're riding a Spider, it's more simple than that. Learn to use a throttle and learn to use a brake. It doesn't get much easier than that. So always remember, no traffic before you no traffic. Number 5, practice. Just get out there and practice. Just practice your craft every day. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, if you're an old rider like me, I still practice every single week. I practice my motorcycle skills every single week. That's the only way I'm going to be a safe rider. If not, I'll start taking things for granted, and all of a sudden, I'll find myself running up under a bus. Never a good plan. Go out, practice your skill sets. Know the performance of what you're riding. If it's a Spider, know its stopping distance. Know its acceleration performance. If it's a motorcycle, a two-wheeled motorcycle, know its acceleration performance. Know how to stop it. Know what it feels like if you grab too much front brake. You'll go down, and you'll go down hard by panicking. So create muscle memory and intellectual connection with that motorcycle by practicing and practicing and practicing. Number 6, this is one that I love to do also, is ride with more experienced riders. Now, it doesn't mean that they necessarily are going to have more years of experience. They're just better riders than you. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Ride with better riders. People that understand the performance of what you're riding, people who have ridden that mile and know how to explain to you how to be a safe rider. All of these things come together and build this wonderful thing that says confidence. Riding with more experienced riders as they teach you and you know that they're skilled and you start seeing those skill sets develop in your life, you will see the fear just slowly and gradually start to decline and evaporate into thin air. Number 7, face it. You know, one of the things you have to do is face your fears. When I was 17 years old, I got in a car accident. I was driving my Nova with my girlfriend, and I was not paying attention to what I was doing. And I remember I was looking at a buddy of mine's car beside me, and when I looked back up, there was a Buick in front of me, and I ran right into the back of him. Fortunately for me, I wasn't hurt, my girlfriend wasn't hurt, and no one in the vehicles that I hit was hurt. But when I got home that night, I was very upset because I had built this car and it was beautiful, and all of a sudden I destroyed it and I could have killed someone. And the thought of that, really, I felt terrible. I felt guilty. I was afraid. I was upset. And the more I thought about it, the heavier that feeling got. What my father made me do was he handed me the keys to his truck and he goes, "Go for a drive." And I'm like, I really don't feel like going for a drive. He goes, "I'm not phrasing that in the form of a question. Go for a drive. You need to face your fear so that you will not be afraid anymore. You're going to have to get out and do this. If you want to drive a car, if you want to be a responsible, productive citizen in this fine nation, you're going to have to overcome fears. You're going to have to drive. Go out there, get in my truck, and go for a ride. I trust you not to wreck it." We used to call it getting back on the horse. You got to get back on the horse if he bucks you off. And I learned that lesson that night. For real. I'd heard it, I'd read it, but that night I experienced it. Sometimes you just have to face your fear in order for it to go away. Well, I am going to have me a sip of one of my favorite beverages. No, I'm not sponsored. No, I'm not. Heck no, wouldn't say I was. No, this is not an alcoholic beverage. This is called Liquid Death, and the name of this particular flavor is Rest in Peach. It's a peach tea sweetened with agave and has some vitamins in it. I'm just going to tell you, it's everything a growing boy needs. All right. So one more time, subscribe to the channel and let's hit number 8. Number 8 is simply this. Savor the flavor, baby. Just like I savored the flavor with this Rest in Peach tea. See, there was a tie-in to it. You knew there had to be a method to it. Savor the flavor. Savor your riding experiences. So let them just soak into what you are. Enjoy every moment. The air, the scenery, the machine, the vibration, the smell of the gasoline, all of it. Savor it, enjoy it, and you will find yourself disappearing into this magical experience that is motorcycle riding. And your fear will just be a vapor that disappeared from your mind. Before you know it, you're going to be riding with skill, you're going to be beaming with confidence, you're going to have all your gear, and you're going to be able to do it like you were called to do it. You're going to be a good rider who's not afraid. All right, so now you have 8 strategies on how to get rid of that fear so that you can ride a motorcycle. So do me a favor until next time. Yes, you, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself. And remember, if you're not having fun, you are doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day and I will see you on the road real soon. And I know you'll be doing it with a massive amount